Before we dive in, I have to share. One of you left the sweetest review after our last episode with Annie Lau on what if your energy is the key to your business growth. Breen Riviera said she loved this with 6 exclamation points. And I couldn't agree more. It was such a powerful conversation. Bree, I am so glad that you loved that episode. I can't wait for you to hear this one. If you want your review read on the podcast, make sure to leave a comment or review on whatever platform you're listening from, because I love sharing them and I love hearing from you. Now, in today's episode, I'm talking with Tracy Hoth from the Organized Coach podcast. Tracy walks us through the 5 steps she uses as a professional organizer in her own business. And we also dive into the 4 Ds: delay, do, delegate, and delete, and so much more in today's conversation. And if this episode gets you thinking, I really want to learn how to work with clients as a professional organizer, then don't forget to head over to proorganizerzacademy.com. That's where you will find my courses on how to start your business, how to create a website that converts in just 5 days, and now my brand new course, how to work with clients as a professional organizer. Go check it out after you listen, and let's get into my conversation with Tracy Hoth. I'm Samantha Brown, professional organizer, decluttering specialist, and business coach. I created Pro Organizers Coach podcast to empower you to reach new heights in your business. I am on a mission to build a supportive sisterhood of passionate professional organizers. So whether you're a seasoned pro or you're just getting started, this podcast is for you. Hey friends, welcome back to the Pro Organizers Coach podcast and YouTube channel. Today, I am so excited for this episode. I have Tracy Hoth with me, and she has the Organized Coach podcast. And so make sure to go follow her and check her out there after you finish listening to this, of course. Tracy is a 17-year professional organizer. And that's right, 17 years she's been an organizer. And she's also a certified life coach on a mission to empower coaches and online business owners to reclaim their time, boost their confidence, and maximize profitability through a streamlined and organized business. She hosts the globally ranked Organized Coach podcast. So thank you, Tracy, for being on the show.
Oh, Samantha, I'm so glad to be here. We're going to talk organizing together.
I know whenever you first reached out, I was like, oh my gosh, she's me. Like she does what I do and I kind of do what she does, but it's similar, but it's different. It's amazing. I love it. I'm so excited. We are going to talk about her 5 steps that she uses with clients, but that she also now uses with her coaching clients in her own business. All the things. So you're definitely going to want to know the steps. But yeah, so tell us a little bit first about who you are and kind of how you got to where you are.
Yes, I remember back in the day tearing little pictures of closets. Back then in magazines, it was mainly closets that looked organized, or there was organizing companies that did that. So I tore pictures out, put them in a file. And then my husband and I made a logo for Squared Away. That's the name of my company. It was going to be the name, but it was taken. So it's simply Squared Away. That's the name of my company. So when my kids started school, then I started organizing, and I just made a website, told people I was an organizer, started helping friends. That's probably a lot of your listeners' stories. And then started organizing in person with people and started speaking on the topic of organizing to grow my email list and productivity. And then in 2017, I found coaching, and I wasn't a big self-help person, but then I somehow found coaching, started listening to podcasts, and then got coach certified and started combining the mindset part of it with the practical part of it. And that was life-changing, because when I was organizing in person, I thought they kind of needed help. They kind of needed me to be there to help them. And so when I started coaching organization online with clients, I realized, oh my goodness, I didn't realize how much of it was the mindset part of it. And so got to see how that happened. And then when I started my business online, I realized organizing comes I've practiced it enough. I know my own steps and I can help people even when I'm organized. I just have to go back to my steps and be like, okay, Tracy, follow the steps because you know you can do this. And I had to do that with my own business and the back end of it and all the digital stuff and all the stuff I was creating and being able to find it when I needed it. And so I used the steps in my own business and figured out how to organize digitally, and then started helping other coaches and online business owners do the same thing.
Yeah, I love that because my story is kind of similar in the sense that like I started being an organizer but I very quickly realized like I need more tools. Like I don't know what I'm doing. Like I know how to help people. I kind of know what I'm doing, but I really don't know what I'm doing, but I know I need more tools. Then I found coaching, got certified, and it's a game changer as an organizer to have the life coaching certification. I tell all my girls, even in like one of the masterminds I'm doing right now, like one of the months we're going to focus on like what life coaching techniques that I use with clients because it matters. Like it matters. Even if you just have a few that you're using with clients, like you need those life coaching techniques and tools and all the things because it is so emotionally connected, with their stuff. And so then I think as business owners, what you're doing is fantastic because you're kind of organizing for the organizers and the entrepreneurs, right? Like all that stuff that exactly what you said. We can go into a client's home all day long and organize the stuff. The second we get on our computer sitting there, we're like, okay, now what do I do?
Where did I put that?
Yes. Or I know I started that thing. Where did that thing go? Or, or even like when you sit down, like, what am I even supposed to be doing today? Or just all of the stuff that when you start an organizing business, you think, oh, I love helping people. Like, this is amazing. And then, right, like then all the other stuff starts coming in. And so I think that's fantastic that like the work that you're doing and helping people. What are some of the parts that people struggle with the most that you see on like the digital side before we get into the actual steps?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And let me also just say, I think it's important because I feel like it gives everyone such relief to know what organization means. And in my mind, it means knowing what you have and being able to find it when you need it. So that might be a lot of people's definition or something similar. But when you're on your computer, to know what you have and being able to find it, be able to find it when you need it is key. So if you can do that, it doesn't have to look like someone else's, but that's what being organized is. That's all it is. And so that's what I help people do. And I help them do that just super simple ways that they can find what they need and know what they have. I have to tell this story too. This relates. I was just with my sister and she had this curling iron that was so disgusting. And I didn't bring mine because I packed in a backpack and we went to my dad's house and she had this curling iron. I tried to use it. I mean, I couldn't even use it. It was so bad. It didn't hold a curl in my hair and I have very fine, thin hair. So I need a good curling iron. And I told her, I said, you don't even know what you're missing. And gave her the link to a curling iron. And she bought it when she got back home and sent me a picture and her hair looked amazing. And she said it took half the time of what it was. So that's how I think about digital business owners, online. They don't know what they're missing in ways like an organized bookmarks bar, organized file structure. So they know how to find things, an organized schedule, and then organized processes. And even links, like where do they keep all their links? Where do they keep their worksheets? Where do they keep their affiliate links? Like all of those assets that you have in your business, those are the main things that I see people struggling with.
Yeah, and especially with online, like I know as organizers, especially when you're first getting started just as an organizer, you don't necessarily have a ton of those things. I know online coaches have all of those things. You don't necessarily have a ton of those things, but at some point in your business, you do want to start doing email marketing. You do want to start giving away freebies. You do want to start growing your list. Like you may not at the very beginning, but at some point you are going to want to get there. You're going to want to do a monthly newsletter or something, right?
Right.
And so starting with those systems and creating a system from the beginning for those things is crucial. So you don't get so far in and then you're like, oh, okay,
I can't find anything. And you spend all of your time just like our clients do before they call us, right? That's how we are at our computer.
Yes. Yes. It's so setting it up in the beginning. And I mean, your organizers might be in the process. I mean, they're probably already doing this. For me, it's a lot of training your brain to think in a way that's super simple to reduce decision fatigue and make the process easy. So on your computer, when you start setting that up early on in the early stages, and I have so many people that are further along in their business that come to me and say, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this in the beginning? I can't find anything. I have a team member that needs it and I spend all my time looking for it. And they just wish they would have set it up in the beginning.
Even if you are just a year or two in, like it's worth taking that time to get set up, because even something as simple as, like you said, the bookmarks bar. Like I immediately thought about mine and how it has every single thing that I need on there that I go to on almost a daily basis. And it's so easy compared to trying to, like, it's simple. It's right there. It's boom, in your face. Like those little things, we don't realize how much time, like you said earlier, you just don't know what you're missing until you have it. So these 5 steps you created when you were working with clients, are those steps you always use?
Yes. Yes. And back 17 years ago, somehow I came up with the acronym SPASM, SPASM. And now it's like so goofy that I haven't got rid of it and made something cool and sophisticated. So that is my acronym. Those are the 5 steps. When your muscle has a spasm, next time you're going to be like, oh yeah, the steps of organizing. But the first step is to sort. And so we always sort first. And I use these steps for literally everything. Physical things, digital spaces. I use it for my mind, how to organize my mind. Whenever I'm overwhelmed, I go back to these steps. Even when I'm planning a project in my Organized Life Academy, we do these same steps at the beginning of every month to plan our month. So if we have a project or our time or our mind, they all work. So the first thing is to sort. Just like with like. And I always say, so I think it's interesting as you're listening, if you're a professional organizer listening to this, see how they relate to your steps. Are they the same? Are they similar? And how can you think about that for your own mind and digital clutter and all that? So like with like, sort. And the second step is to purge. So we know what we have in each category and we can purge. And when you're thinking about time, I always think the D's, like, can we delay that? Do we have time this month to do it? Can we delay it? Can we delete it? Can we delegate it? So all those things in regards to the purge step. And everyone knows questions like, have you used it? My kids will ask me, Mom, when is the last time you used that? I'm like, oh, don't ask me that question.
Right. I'm supposed to be asking that question. Yeah.
I know. I love when someone does it for me, though. It's like so good to have me remember to think about that. And then the A is assign homes. So now you know what you're keeping. You're going to find a place for it. So that might be on your calendar. If it's a task, it might be, a location in your home. In your mind, it might be in the trash bin or after 5 o'clock. I know sometimes I want to quit. And my friend was like, Tracy, you cannot look for that or think about that until after 5 p.m. You're going to focus on your business before 5. So that's the home that I assign those thoughts to. And then S is set limits. So this is the stage of going and buying containers or a new planner, or on our calendar, it's the appointment. The length of the appointment is the limit. But we set these limits so that when the limit is reached, it triggers us to go back to the beginning and go through it again. So if our section of our drawer, the socks, is full, we're going to go back to the steps, sort, purge, and then assign homes again. And then the final step, M, is to maintain. So everything in life requires maintenance. And I always tie it to something that you already do. That's the secret to maintaining. So sort, purge, assign homes, set limits, and maintain.
I love it. And the one that you said, the 3 Ds, repeat those under
purge. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can delegate, delete, do, or delay. So there's 4 Ds.
I love that. I think we talk about that for a second, because I think for all of us, like, we know kind of like the SPACE acronym, and the reason I was laughing on the spasm is because I remember when I first started my organizing business, I mean, I spent days trying to come up with my own acronym for my steps. I don't think I ever even did. Like, right. Like, I think I still ended up using space or something at the beginning. But as organizers, we get so excited about having like the words. I think I love that spasm. It's hilarious. And you remember it, right? And
Right.
they all do the same thing. It's just how can we remember it and how can we use it in a way that is simple for us to help our clients with?
Right. Right.
But I've not heard of, and I guess it's because it's more of like the mindset or the online space that during the purge process, you know, because with clients, we could use the D's with clients technically, but it is more for like, you know, like you're saying, the mindset, the online stuff. So do, delete, delegate, delay. Okay.
And
so
that's really for time. It's when I think about when you're overwhelmed and or you're looking at your calendar and planning, it really comes down to the task. Can I delegate this task? Can I delete it? Can I delay it till next month because I just can't handle anymore this month? Or
that's
can I
my
do it?
favorite. I always move stuff to the next one.
Yes. And there's
Yeah.
so people are like, but I'll forget. So I have little tricks. So if you are going to delay it, if you use a paper planner, you could put a Post-it note at the beginning of the next month and write all the things you're delaying so you don't lose them. Or if you're a digital calendar person, you would make an appointment for the first day of the month, maybe at 7 a.m. And that would be where you could keep things so that when you plan the next month, you pull those things up, but they're not in your face, which I'm finding with clients. It's so helpful for them not to have this forever long to-do list. They just have the things that they're committing to doing this month.
Yeah, no, that's huge because the less stuff, I mean, and we know this with our clients in their homes, right? But it's almost like we forget in our own business or when we're online, right? Is like the less stuff we have in front of our face, of course, the better we feel. Like, of course, we don't feel so overwhelmed. Or if, you know, we only have a few tasks that we're focusing on versus 15 that are popping up in our face at that time. And so, like, we know these things, but being reminded of them or creating the systems around them, like you're talking about, that are easy to remember is key to being a successful business owner, not just a business owner, because, you know, we all start this business because we want to help people or we want more time with our kids. Like, we have our goals, right? But ultimately, it's that we don't want to work 500 hours every single week. Like, we all love the idea of like the 4-hour workday, but then we start our business, and then before you know it, we're up at midnight trying to do all the stuff. And it's like we forget that, like, hey, this was supposed to make life easier, not more complicated.
Yeah, the life of an entrepreneur. It's crazy. Yeah. So to get those systems and to get those committing to what you're doing and letting go of the rest, at least for a month, you know, until you look at it again. So let me go back to space. So is space, sort, purge, assign homes as well? And then C is contain? Or what are the?
Yeah. Contain. And then, God, it's been a long time since I've read that one. That was the very first one that I read when I was learning how to organize. But it was sort, purge, assign homes, contain, and then I think examine or something was the last one for like the maintaining. Yeah. It's essentially the same thing. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I was like,
I just read it in a book somewhere. Yeah. Right. You know, like all the information we have coming at us that we're trying to figure out, like, how do I be an organizer? How do I work with clients? How do I do all the things? Actually, this is funny. So inside of the community of organizers, so we always talk about KISS, which is keep it simple, silly, which is one of my organizers had talked about that. Well, then we were in the mastermind meeting just the other day, and one of the other organizers, she goes, no, for me, KISS means keep it stupid simple. She said, I don't even want it if it's simple. She said, I need it stupid simple for me to actually get it done. I was like, oh, that's good.
Yeah. Well, that
always trying to complicate it, you know?
That's so true. That's so true. We need someone to check us. And that's why, like, for example, on digital organization for all your files, anything you have for business, I keep it with 5 files. You just 5 file folders to put everything in. They all fit into either operations, which is admin, the back end of your business operations, or The second folder is marketing. That's anything forward facing that other people see. And then my content is anything I create. And education is anything that someone else creates that I bring into my computer. And then clients is the fifth file folder. So simple, like 5 folders that you can organize every single thing into. So I love that.
And then inside of each one of those, that's when obviously it would have like other folders, like for each person or for maybe something you're working on at the time or whatever it is.
Yes.
But keeping it in those 5. I like that. Here's the thing, right? Like business seems so overwhelming when we're first getting started. And it is, because we've never done this before. We have no idea what we're doing. But that's why I love like podcasting and then the communities, and like they make life so much easier, but also systems, keeping it simple, having these little things that like, you know, those 5 things would work. They'd look different for everyone, but they still would each work for anyone in any business because those are the 5 topics of business.
It's so true. And they work. And what it helps people so much just have relief, because now they can see it in their mind. It comes in, it's either home or business. If it's business, it's one of those 5 places. And then I always teach to make the subcategories of those very broad. So one would be called money, and anything money related would go into that folder. Or one would be called legal, you know, or one would be called brand. So they have subfolders then, but it would all just keep them broad and simple, the subfolder titles.
Okay. And then once it goes into that, like at what point does it start getting smaller to where you can actually find it? Or is it just a matter of searching once you get to that file?
Yeah, I think you'll know when to add another subfolder because, you know, you can find what you need. Again, go back to that definition. You know that it's an admin or operations because it's behind the scenes. You know that it's whatever, money. And so then do you need a subfolder? I mean, yeah, maybe you'd have taxes this year, taxes last year. You know, you could do taxes by year or something, or just a tax folder, you know, so you could just keep it really, not even make subfolders until you realize you need them.
Yeah, but just the fact that it's sorted into even just those 5. I'm sitting here thinking about it like as we're talking it through. And again, keep it stupid simple. Like, hello, I just said that. And then here I am trying to make it more complicated. I'm like, well, but don't we need subfolders? And what about more? Like, look at the entrepreneur brain over here. Yes. Like, it's almost like the blessing and the curse of being an entrepreneur, right? Like, we have these like amazing ideas and like we're always, you know, that's the blessing of it. But then almost the curse side is that we have all these amazing ideas, right? So we're constantly trying to like talk it out or make it more complicated than it needs to be. So yeah, I love that. Like just keep it stupid simple.
Right.
Just keep it simple.
Well, and then on top of that now, not only do we have our own ideas, but we literally have millions of ideas coming at us and millions of opportunities coming at us too that we have to shield out.
Always. And even just as an organizer now, right? Like you have, you know, because I'm sure when you got started, you weren't having to necessarily worry about social media and like email marketing and like, you know, making sure your Google's perfect and like all of these things that as entrepreneurs and specifically as organizers, like service-based business owners now, you're not just working with clients. You have to be a social media manager. You have to be, you know, like a business expert. You have to be like, there's so many things. And then you get into this comparison game because, you know, back in the day when everyone had brick and mortars, you didn't really get to see what other people were doing. So there was no comparison. Now everybody and their brother from around the world you get to see. And so, of course, we get in this place of like, well, it's not good enough if I don't have all the things, or it's, you know, and that's where that like keeping it, you know, simple, like if we can just remember to come back to keeping it simple and like the acronyms or anything that we can do to help us keep it simple, remember where things are, and exactly what you said, be organized in our business.
Right. Yeah.
That's the key to growing. That's the key to scaling. It's the key to everything, or at least that's what I found throughout the years.
Yes, 100%. And I'm focusing on planning my time based on 12-week periods. And so I love that as well, so that I have 3 main goals for 12 weeks. And that's what I focus on. And it's helped me a lot to keep out all the distractions, all the other things that I could be doing and could be making better. Nope. Just the 3 things right now. This is what I'm looking at. This is what I'm working on. And everything else can wait. Again, delay that until the next 12 weeks. If it's still important, I can then pick 3 things from there.
Ooh, that's good. Literally, if it's still important, right? Because I know there's
Yes.
literally just the other day I was organizing my calendar and one of the things had popped up and I was like, oh, that like it doesn't even matter anymore. And so I was able to just delete it, but it was something I had been delaying for a minute. And I love what you said about like keeping it in a, a 3-month time frame, 3 main goals, being very intentional about that. Because one thing I've been realizing here recently is, not recently, but more here recently is, we plant seeds in our business. You got to give them time to grow. Some grow sooner, some grow later. But on average, it's like 3 to 6 months later ish, right? So like whatever we're working on now, we're going to see the fruits of like 3 to 6 months down the road, so like being able to think in chunks like that instead of like, oh, so for 2025, here's what I'm doing. And then you end up just wanting to watch Netflix or crawl under the pillow because that's a long list of what you're trying to get done.
Yes.
Yeah. What made you start actually like because you said right now I'm focusing on this. Like, was there something that happened or?
I don't know what it was last fall. I read the 12-week year book, committed to doing that, and then got accountability partners to help me stay on track because, we all have these great ideas and then we start and we don't finish. And so I'm at the end. I'm almost to the end of my first 12-week period. And it is the part that's great is I'm like now at the end, kind of like what you would do in December. If you were trying to reach a goal, you'd all of a sudden in December, you would be thinking, okay, I'm going to work hard because I got to get this done before the end of the year. Well, now the end of my year is the end of March and I have a week and a half to be from when we're recording this to be finishing this goal that I have. It's so good because it keeps the timeline short in my mind and I see where I could just, if it was a year goal, I'd be like, I'll do it next month.
I'll deal with it later.
I have plenty of time. Yeah. So that's been really helpful.
No, I love that. I didn't even know that was a book. So that's awesome. I'll have to check that out. And what I also loved about what you said about that is you committed to it and then you got accountability partners because we can all be like, oh, that's amazing. That's great. I'm going to start doing that tomorrow. And then it's like a New Year's resolution, right? If you don't commit and if you don't find accountability partners, which is why I love community. It's why I love coaching because that's what community and coaching help you do is be accountable and stay committed. Like, I don't know how often I hear women tell me about the organizing community that I have. They're like, I would have quit by now if it wasn't for our group coaching sessions because we meet every Tuesday. So like every Tuesday, and then if they haven't shown up in a little bit, I may reach out or like kind of, and so for them, they're like, Samantha, I would have quit being an organizer by now because I would have thought, that like I wasn't doing it right or, all of the fear
doubt.
and the yes, all the stuff. But when you're in a community with other people, and I'm sure you see this with your people as well, like they start realizing from each other, like, wait, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one that feels this way. And, it's so good. But yes, being committed is everything because then we can decide what we're going to do. But I'm totally checking out that 12-week book because I have got to figure out some ways to make things a little bit more simple, make them a little bit faster throughout the year. So I love that it breaks it up into 4 years in 1 year.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's so good. It's a new way to think about it.
Yeah, no, I love it. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Will you please tell everybody like where they can find you and all of your stuff that you have going on?
Yes. simplysquaredaway.com is my website. And on there, you can learn about Organized Coach Academy, which is one of my programs. Organized Life Academy is the one for life. And I also have a file naming cheat sheet convention. It's a standardized convention on how to name your files on your computer. You can grab that on there. And then Organized Coach Podcast.
Love it. I'm so excited. And
You will find all of the links in the show notes that were mentioned in today's episode. If you go to Tracy's podcast and go to episode 117, that is where you will find where I went on her show to talk about the psychology of clutter.
Listen to it. Subscribe to both of our podcasts. Give us both some
Yes.
reviews and love, because we put a lot of heart and love and work into this. So we would really appreciate it. But thank you so much, Tracy, for coming on the show. And for those of you listening and watching, we will catch you in the next one.
Thanks, Samantha.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Pro Organizers Coach podcast. Go to proorganizerscoach.com to find all the ways that we can help you succeed in your business. Remember, you have the power to make a difference in people's lives through decluttering and organization. So keep honing your skills, embracing those challenges, and fostering connections. Girl, you've got this.